Alrighty friends, welcome back to my channel. We are back here again, reacting to Reddit videos. Okay, so this first person here, let's see what he is doing. Okay, so this first person, he's doing a handstand on a stool of some sort. This is what I be talking about with the way that men like to do handstands and stuff. They really overextend their back, or they use their feet to offset the balance that they don't have with their midsection. And definitely you can see the chest activation here. He's very strong. You can tell he has good shoulder and chest strength, but you need to use less chest. Put your feet together, tuck your pelvis in, have a flat back, and really focus on form. Now, he titled his video, "My form is terrible, I know, just some practice," but you need to practice how you play. You need to make sure the practice is actually worth your time and not cause for injury. Not to mention, it looks like you're on a farm. You got all these dogs around, and you ended the video at a time where it looks like you're gonna kick a dog in the back. We need to choose better decisions here. Anyway, pursuing down through Reddit. Okay. So this person. I don't like that you are facing away from the wall and climbing up onto the wall. I don't know why this is the default method that's being chosen by a lot of gym people. We're all very strong. We all have good balance, good muscle. We need to be faced toward the wall. Kick up onto the wall. You're wasting your time climbing up on the wall, though it might be helping you with your shoulder strength. That's not going to help you with your balance in the long run when you actually think about it. I do like the little kicks he's doing, but he is entirely way too close to the wall. Way too close to the wall for this exercise to be effective. You're not really balancing anything. You're just spending time upside down. We need to treat this as a full body movement. This here is not worth anyone's time to do. It's just not. And then as you see when he came down, it's unsafe coming down. You're not taking your time in focusing on safety, because this method really shouldn't be used unless you have to use the method, which you don't have to use this method. Unless you have to, you shouldn't be doing this because it's not a safe exercise. My feet no longer touch the wall, working on my abdominal strength. Very good. So what this person needs to do is go back to the wall, bend your knees at a 90-degree angle, because you have not built the necessary core strength in order to hold a handstand safely. You are overextending your back. You're not tight. You're not tightening up with your core. Your feet are entirely way too far back. And like I said, this is supposed to be a full body movement. This is not how you do it. So go back to the wall and do this exercise right here, and you should be good to progress, because you have the balance and you have the strength. You really just need the form. That's basically all you need here. But you're on the right track. I just hate seeing the overextension of the lower back. It's very, very common, especially among men. They really, really like to do that banana form. Okay, now this person here, tips to straighten out better. What do you mean straighten out better? You're laying down on the wall. You're straight as it gets. I mean, these are the questions you ask when you are away from the wall and you're trying to figure out what your form is. But this right here is not effective. Laying down on the wall, that removes the core activation. It removes the necessary shoulder activation. Like, you're getting some shoulder activation, but you're literally laying down on the wall. The wall is taking most of the load. You should be working your core, your shoulders, and your chest muscles all in one movement. When I practice on the wall, it feels like I'm laying down on the wall. I can remember distinctly when I was a child, that workout was not effective. I had to face toward the wall and do a handstand onto the wall. And then eventually I didn't need the wall because my feet were floating away from the wall. Like, there's progressions to this, and laying down on the wall is not in that progression. It's not in the timeline because it's not going to build you anywhere. So you need to challenge yourself and face toward the wall, and not think that laying down on the wall is a necessary part of your handstand journey. You don't need to do it. You should do more effective exercises than this. Handstand part 2. Okay, so this person is kicking up. And something I like about this video that he's doing here, I like his distance from the wall. I really do. I like his distance from the wall. I just wish that he would bend his knees when he gets to the top of this movement, because as you can see, there's an arch in his back and it's throwing his chest activation off balance. You need to activate your chest and keep your head up, and it's hard to do that when your legs are just like flimsily bending and overextending your back. You're losing the tightness in the movement. When you bend your knees at a 90-degree angle, that forces your chest to be engaged, it forces your shoulders to be engaged, and it forces your core to be engaged because you have a perfect straight line and good form. And when you have good form, it's really hard to hold the handstand because it's a full body movement. Again, so it brings me back to the point of you need to have good form for it to be effective. And the reason why I think a lot of people do these types of exercises, number one, is because of lack of knowledge, but number two, it's because it's very easy to do and it makes you feel like you're doing something, but really at the end of the day, you're not really doing very much at all, because it's not going to get you, you're not practicing correctly, basically. So even when you do get a handstand, it's going to take you a lot longer to get the form down if you're not practicing the way that you're actually going to do the handstand. So that's why I do these videos, because people need the help. I see these practices and I'm like, what is going on in your head? Like, who? But we all have different starting points, but when you see it, it's just like, who told you to do this? I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so this last video, handstand practice, this is the same guy with no wall. Okay, so let me watch this again. I love watching people get into position for the handstand. It looked like for a minute he was trying to press up into the handstand, and then he was like, oh, let me just kick up. Okay. I think when you start a handstand from the ground and try to go up, it's a lot harder to get the movement. It's a lot harder to grasp that center of gravity, because you have to have the correct momentum. You have to have the right muscle. You have to have the right form in order to catch that at the top of the movement which is why it's hard for a lot of people to get their handstand when they start from the ground. You don't even have the proper form. You don't have your center of gravity, and you don't have all the proponents that are necessary once you get to the top of that handstand when you start from the ground. Though I don't think you have it even when you start standing up. I think it helps you get a nice fluid movement, and it helps you feel the movement when you start in the air. And just put your hands on the ground gently and then go up into the handstand. It's like one fluid movement. Starting from the ground, I think that is, for a lot of people that don't have the skill, I think you could get injured by doing this method. So I think you should start standing up and just practice the movement in itself, just to get used to kicking up and, you know, try to grasp the form. It's a lot easier to do it that way. But this person here, he's also on the right track. I just think he needs to focus on his core strength. Let me see here. He definitely had good form in his other video with his chest activation, but he needs to practice just kicking up into the movement when he's standing up. He's putting too much emphasis on kicking up from the ground. That's not how you do a handstand. No, that's not how you do a handstand. And you shouldn't be trying to press up into a handstand when you don't even know how to stand and start a handstand in its full. You can't even do the full regular movement, let alone press up into the handstand. You get what I'm saying? But yes, y'all, that is it. That is today's video of reacting to Reddit. Sorry if I'm a little bit down today. I am not feeling good and my throat is kind of dry. And my mother was talking my ear off as if I'm not sick this morning. So that's why I'm a little bit down. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like it, subscribe, and I'm gonna come out with more videos soon. Anyway, until next time, ciao.